Hello, this is Kim with Standing on Solid Ground. I am your host of this motivational and inspirational podcast. And today I wanted to take the time out to, first of all, apologize for the delay in release of videos, audios, or the different segments of episodes that we usually are putting out try to put out on a regular basis. Unfortunately, I had an incident last week where I was not feeling well, that I had to be rushed to the hospital. And in going to the hospital, discovered some things that were overlooked possibly for about 7 years, where MRIs and different things had uh, discovered the issue, but it was never really pursued because doctors really didn't know what it was and where they needed to send me and different things like that. Well, as I ended up in the ER, um, I was spewing up things that I never spewed up in my life. And I couldn't understand why they thought it was my gallbladder. Well, it comes to find out it was something totally different. All my levels for everything else was fine, and they did a ultrasound of my stomach and found out that I had a lot of fluid, to the point where they told me that it was as much as a beach ball, as much fluid that I had on my stomach. And during that process, I would recall going back, telling the Lord, at the beginning of the year, that I'm going to trust you. I'm just going to trust you. I'm going to put all my faith, all my trust, all my belief, all my hope in you. That I wasn't going to worry about anything. And the wonderful thing about God is He's going to test you. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what stage of life you may be in. It doesn't even matter how well you may feel the day that you made that declaration, because He will test your faith. And I felt like that when I had told the Lord that I was going to trust Him, believe in Him, have no doubt in anything that He does. I know that bills are due, but I'm going to trust you. I know that things are a little behind. I'm going to trust you. I know that things are not quite the way that I want them to be right now, but I'm going to trust you. That God is going to test you. You just can't put a word out there and say, I'm going to do something, and then He doesn't try your faith. I felt like that I was Peter getting off the ship, off the boat. And I said, Lord, I'm going to trust you. No matter what I go through, I'm going to trust you. No matter what I'm going to face, I'm going to trust you. And when I stepped off of that ship, I did not have any idea what I was stepping into. That I was just miserable. I was absolutely miserable. And I'm not out of the woods yet, because in a couple of days, I will be going into a 3-hour surgery procedure to do repairs on my stomach, and to do repairs uh, the organs, my other organs were not damaged or had any flare ups or anything wrong with them. They were just misplaced, meaning my colon was partially in my chest, my liver had moved to the right a little bit. It is out of place, so they have to put things back in place. Now, most of the time, a couple of years ago, 2, 3, 4 years ago, if doctors had told me that, I would have did everything that I possibly could to get out of going through surgery. But when you are faced with storms, you meet them head on. You don't run away from them. If you ever notice rams, whenever they are ready to fight, you don't see one ram backing down from the other ram. Guess what they gonna do? They gonna headbutt, and they gonna fight until one of them either runs away or dies. They are not gonna back down. And this is where my faith challenge, if you remember one of the episodes that I have, my faith challenge. This is God challenging my faith. And my faith is on the tightrope, so to speak. God is not going to allow me to back down from this. Now I could have took option 2 and just took a whole lot of drugs and see if we can keep things under control and see that this and that. But I believe that if I don't take care of what I need to take care of today or this time, that 10 years later, I'm going to have more problems, more substantial than I do right now. So when I say that I am stepping out on faith, that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm stepping out on faith, and I'm leaving my life in God's hands. When he said that no man can pluck you out of his hand, I'm going to trust him. When he said that I am with you always, even until the end of this world, I'm going to trust him. He said that he will never leave me nor forsake me. I'm going to believe him. He said that if I draw nigh unto him, that he will draw nigh unto me. I trust him. In other words, I am not going to back down. In any other status of my life when I was younger, I would be scared, but I'm not scared. I'm not even troubled about it. It's like, am I supposed to be scared? But when you're in the hands of God, and when God is truly in your life, and you are sincere in your heart to say that I trust you, you don't have any worries. Now, the surgery is on this Wednesday. This is Monday, what we recognize as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And we are on vacation. I am on medical leave right now. And I am stepping out on faith. It's easy to talk about it after it's done, after you've been through it. But it's another situation when you talk about it while you're going through. This is not a pity party. This is not an empathy or a sympathy party. This is a celebration for me because I'm going to see God do something that I've never seen happen in my life before. What it is, I don't know. Yes, like I said, bills are due, but God got it. Yes, I'm little behind, but you know what? God has my back. God is on my side. He's in my corner. God is walking with me and talking with me every single step of the way. And all I'm doing is saying, thank you, Lord. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for keeping me and blessing me and holding me and encouraging me. The levels of my foundation from faith, hope, peace, love, trust, obedience, they fall in line of why I am standing on my solid ground. Now, I could have took another attitude about this and started a pity party and so why is this happening to me? And Why did God do this? Didn't I tell him that I was going to trust him? Yeah, you did. But the key factor is, how are you going to trust him when everything is going good? The only time you really can trust someone is when things are not so good. When things are not as the way you would like for them to be. And this is where God is going to shine like a bright star. He's going to illuminate the skies because you know what? He's the one in the spotlight, not me. Now, I will continue my prayer life. I will continue praying for me, that God will show me the best ways to walk with Him. And I'm not going to tell you this is goodbye, but this is a faith challenge, another test. If ever I have ever known to be in any other test, this I do know is a test, and I have to see it through. I can't back down from it. I can't walk away from it. I can't, you know, cry about it. I gotta fight through it. And this is what it's all about. Standing on solid ground is not just a name, it's my life. It's not just a title, it's my declaration. And in order for me to teach anybody how to get through anything, any phase, or any facet of their life, I have to first go through something myself. This is the attitude that God has given me. This is the way God is wanting me to demonstrate who He is in my life. It is not about everything that goes well in my life. It's about the things when it's not going so well. That when this process and this finish line has been crossed, that another video will be completed. And when that video has come to pass, it's going to be talking about how God has brought me through and how I overcome and how God is going to take me to that next level. The higher or the closer you get with God or to God, the harder the challenges is going to be. We are spiritual beings in a physical body. The physical body is going to be our greatest challenge because that's what the enemy works through. He works through our physical being. Am I mad at God? No. Am I upset or disordered or anything with God? No. I'm thankful. I'm truly thankful. Because last week, when I was going through that, and I said, Lord, is this it? Is this the time? He said, no, it's not time. But I'm about to show you something. He said, go ahead and you make that call to your job and let them know that you're heading to the hospital. And then you go to the hospital. And that's what I did. And doctors were looking at one aspect. They thought it was my gallbladder. And it was something totally different. And I said, look at God. Even during my misery, God was there. I watched because that surgeon and the persons from upper GI, they were not playing. No, we're gonna look at something else because something is not right. These numbers are not adding up. 2 plus 2 is not equaling 7 here. It's supposed to equal 4, but it's equaling 7, and something is not adding up. And when they found out what the problem was, that's when I knew God was right there with me every step of the way. I didn't have anything to worry about. I'm saying this or making this recording not for sympathy. I am not looking for anybody to cry for me. I am okay because I'm in the hands of God. And being in the hands of God, it keeps me focused and grounded in Him, through Him, by Him. And it keeps me on that road of that narrow and straight path. No one wants to go down this path. But you know what? You got to go through whatever races of life you got to go through in order to finish the race. And yes, it's a lot of hurdles along the way, but God never said it was going to be easy. We look at Paul. Paul been through so much, from shipwrecks. He been bit by a viper. He been stoned. He been beaten. I mean, this man went through a lot for Christ. We fight for Christ. And our physical bodies sometimes take a lot of the brunt of the pain. But in doing so, we have to show our faithfulness in God. And how we show our faithfulness in God, we trust Him. And that's where I am right now. I am trusting Him. I am believing in Him. I want you all that are going through whatever it is that you're going through, whether it's physical, financial, spiritual, emotional, psychological, whatever it may be, God is with you. But you have to trust Him. And when you find yourself asking yourself, why me? God's going to ask you, why not? Because you're the one that said that you would trust Him. Why not you? The best examples are those that go through something. It's not always the people that have a perfect life. Jesus said Himself, He didn't come for the well, but He came for those that were sick. For the well doesn't need a doctor, but the sick do. What good of Jesus coming would it have been if everybody was well and no one was sick? What would have been His purpose? Ask yourself that question. What would have been the purpose of Him coming if He didn't have anything to do? Something to think about. How would you know if God would have blessed us if we never been through anything to be blessed? Because we would have been blessed every day. See, every day that we live, it's a blessing. Every day that we wake up is a blessing. Have activities of our limbs, that's a blessing. But God wants to show His miracles, His healings, to show His presence even in 2023. But the only way He's going to do it, He's got to have a source. He has to have a substance. It's like making a lemon pie and you don't have any lemons. You got to have the source. What's the main source? The lemons. You have to have a source in order for a person to see the purpose. If you say, I'm going to make a lemon pie, and you end up making an orange pie, you didn't fulfill the obligation. You didn't fulfill your task because you said that you was making a lemon pie. Jesus came for the sick. If everyone was well, what would have been His purpose? If we never go through anything, how can we tell anybody about how good God is if we're not willing to go through anything ourselves? This is what it's all about. So I'm going to say this in closing. I'm not afraid. I am not bewildered. My faith is in God. And we need to learn how to put our faith and our trust in God in the midst of our storms and not after the storm has already passed us by. This is Kim with Standing on Solid Ground. You have yourself a wonderful and blessed day.